Ladies and gentlemen, the officiating crew for today's match is the referee is John Freeman. The assistant referees are Ian McKay and Patrick Casey. The fourth official is Kevin Cavalcanti. It's now time to announce today's starting lineup for the visiting Nashville FC. The goalkeeper, number 24, Connor Sparrow. Defender, number 27, Casares Jr. Defender, number 6, Ken Tribbett. Defender, number 5, Liam Doyle. Defender, number 2, Justin Davis. Midfielder, number 8, Vinny Vermeer. Midfielder and captain, number 17, Michael Reed. Midfielder, number 20, Matt LaGrassa. Midfielder, number 10, Stevo Malono. And forward, number 14, Daniel Rios. And the forward, number 11, Carlson Belmar. The head coach of Nashville SC is Mr. Gary Smith. And today, starting for your New York Red Bulls 2, the goalkeeper number 24, Evan Laurel. Defender number 91, Reese Buckmaster. Defender number 35, Jordan Scarlett. Defender number 15, Shawn Neal. Defender number 72, Eduardo Rios. Midfielder number 80, Chris Lima. Midfielder number 23, Christian Casares Jr. Midfielder number 50, Jared Stroud. And forward, number 7, Derek Etienne Jr. And forward, number 42, Brian White. And at forward, number 11, Marcus Epps. The head coach of the New York Red Bulls 2, Mr. John Boyd.
Another picture.
Spring has finally bloomed. In Montclair, New Jersey, New York Red Bulls 2 will host Nashville SC for the final time in USL Championship history here on ESPN+. David Goss and Mike Grella joining you from the field as these two teams are ready to come out and get going. Mike, we're excited about this one. We're in for a good one.
Absolutely. This should be a good game. I'm excited to be here. We're looking at a Red Bull team that will press and go after the game, and then we're looking at a Nashville team that's going to be very organized, gritty, and tough to play against, so it should be exciting.
New York Red Bulls 2 a week off, so looking to stay perfect as Nashville SC comes in off a loss at St. Louis FC. Let's take a look at the star players for these two teams. for Nashville SC. You mentioned a strong, gritty team, but they've got a star up top in Daniel Rios.
Absolutely, going to be dangerous in the counterattack today. Daniel Rios with 20 goals last season from Mexico City, 24-year-old who's represented his national teams at the under 20 and under 23 levels. So we'll be excited to watch him in the attack.
Scored a goal against New York Red Bulls too last year, so already knows this level. The first ever signing in Nashville MLS history. And on the flip side, looking to do some business in the attack, Brian White getting the start up top for New York Red Bulls too.
Yeah, I actually had the privilege of training with Brian White, and he's a very exciting player, good in the box, and he's looking to get some fitness back to get himself back into the MLS.
Was the leading goal scorer last year for this USL squad, but as Mike said, still working his way back in here in 2019 to full fitness. It should be a good one between these two teams here today at Montclair Soccer Park. We're looking forward to it. We'll be back with all your first half action in just a moment here on ESPN+.
With MSG Go, the game goes where you go. So you can watch live Red Bulls games anywhere you want. It's free and easy because if you get MSG, you get MSG Go. Watch your favorite team wherever you are with MSG Go, presented by Lexus. Download it for free where you get your apps.
Brian White gets his first of the game.
Lancaster denied by Laurel.
His low shot off the post and in. Jared Stroud's got his hat trick. New York Red Bulls 2 take a 4-goal lead. Sun is shining for this one. These two teams have the pleasantries out of the way and are ready to go here at MSU Soccer Park for this USL Championship early season matchup. Let's take a look at the starting lineups for these two teams. For Nashville SC coming in, a surprise in the starting lineup. No Cameron Lancaster up top alongside Daniel Rios, so it'll be the speedster Carlton Belmore in that spot, and of course experience across the back line. Justin Davis, 30-year-old left back, and Kosuke Kimura, former New York Red Bulls Supporters Shield winner in MLS. For New York Red Bulls 2, we mentioned Brian White. Derek Etienne Jr. joins him in this team for this week. Marcus Epps coming off a goal and an assist, and Jared Stroud taking over the attacking keys under this man, John Wolyniec.
Yeah, John's someone I had the privilege of watching as a player and learning from as a coach, and he's a really well-balanced guy and very good at what he does.
On the flip side, the Englishman Gary Smith taking over Nashville SC for his second season.
Yeah, I also played against one of Gary Smith's team, and it's not easy. They're very well organized and very gritty, so it's this will be exciting today.
We announced that Gary Smith will be the head coach of the MLS Nashville team coming up next year. We'll talk more about that in the future. John Freeman, our head official, Ian McKay, and Patrick Casey, his assistant referees, and Kevin Cavalcanti, his fourth official for this one, as these two teams are out and ready to go here for New York Red Bulls 2. It's their second home game early on in the season. They had a week off this week to get rested, and you see some movement in the lineup, some international duties, as Alan Yanez is with the Guatemalan national team. So Reese Buckmaster, who started the first game at right back, slides over to left back. Shawn Neal and Jordan Scarlett still at the center back position as we're kicked off here at MSU Soccer Park. Nashville going right to left on your cameras in their yellow jerseys. New York Red Bull 2 in their home red kits to get this one started. David Goss and Mike Grella joining you here on ESPN Plus for USL Championship Soccer. New York Red Bulls 2 start the season with 3 straight home games, trying to get off to a fast start, something they have rarely been able to find in their USL existence. For Nashville SC, just their second year in the USL. Last year, 49 points. They were able to sneak into the playoffs, fell in the first round of the postseason. New York Red Bulls 2 making it all the way to the Eastern Conference Championship for their 3rd straight year in 2018. Back pass here for Evan Loro, and he will go long.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. These games always start out really chippy. You have to sort of find the pace of the game. Coaches always used to say to me, you have to earn the right to play. So these first 5-10 minutes, you'll always see very aggressive and very direct game until it settles down.
Derek Etienne Jr. fouled there. Wearing the captain's armband in this one, Mike, he went from when you were here with New York Red Bulls, the young homegrown kid, to now one of the more senior guys on this team. How does that make his role have to change?
He's an excellent player. He's an excellent person as well. And when I was here, he was a younger guy, but he's a fast learner, and he'll captain his team today really well, and he'll go on to have a really awesome career. He's an exciting player to watch. Really shifty guy, difficult to defend one-on-one. Very intelligent player also. Just in the final third, you'd like to see him put away some more chances, but I'm sure he'll get there once he gets some more confidence in more games.
Connor Sparrow in goal for this one, just 24 years old out of Creighton University. Was with Real Salt Lake and Real Monarchs last year, ending up with Nashville this year, as we see first foul called in favor of Nashville SC. Nashville Soccer Club, as I said, their 2nd year in USL existence, started out as Nashville FC in 2013 in the NPSL, a fan-started team. Moved into USL last year. Will move into Major League Soccer next year, so a lot going on. But they have been packing First Tennessee Park since they joined professional soccer. 3rd highest average attendance last year with 13,000 fans a game. A lot of First Division teams around the world that would die for 13,000 fans a game.
Exactly.
And Nashville's been enjoying it. 1-1 so far at home this year as they line up this free kick. Interesting to see center back Liam Doyle over this one. He hits that one high and wide.
Yeah, it was just always going to be a tough distance away to get it up over the wall and have it come back down.
What you see when you look at this Nashville SC team along the back line, Kosuke Kimura, of course, player coach, veteran, 34 years old, but Doyle, 26 years old, Ken Tribbett, 25 years old, played 2 years in MLS and 2 years in USL. And you look at this team, Justin Davis played for Minnesota United for 3 years, just different levels of experience. Like, how does that play out, especially if you're Coach Wolenek trying to get these young guys to go out there and battle?
Yeah, the young guys, they always bring loads of energy and excitement and optimism. And the older guys will bring a lot of experience. They'll slow the game down. They'll make the quality of the game a little bit better. And they'll, with their experience, hopefully show what being a professional is all about, the way you train, the way you warm up, and the way you prepare yourself for a match.
Edgardo Rito charging forward there. His first touch as a New York Red Bull 2 player. Will be Lima with the corner kick. Headed away. Buckmaster able to keep it in. Now Stroud on the ball. Lima lays it into the path of Stroud. Kimura out to defend. Stroud's cross is blocked, and it's safely into the goalkeeper's arms. Edgardo Rito getting his first start for New York Red Bulls 2. I mentioned that right back as we take a look at the replay of the cross there. Easy one handled by Sparrow.
Like I said earlier, the ball's just bouncing around a lot right now. It's very direct, and they're still both teams trying to find their way in the game.
We saw Jared Stroud with that cross. led the team in assists last year. Like we talked with Coach Wolnick before the game about what he needs to do, but shifting from winger to that number 10 spot in this role, you were a guy who played out wide most of your career as Marcus Epps now. Tries to get into the box, finds the feet of White, whose cutback's cleared away. What does that shift entail, though? Is it a mental thing? Is it change your role a little bit? What does Jared Stroud now need to do as that number 10?
I think as a number 10, you need to be – there's a lot of similarities in the two positions, but I think as a number 10, you need to know where players are more. So you need to be taking pictures of the field and pictures of where your guys are before you receive the ball, and be willing to and ready to play one touch more, 1v1s more, and you're going to be in a more central position, so always ready to shoot quickly and pass quickly. Out in the wing, it's more 1v1 oriented, and a lot of the times if it's too packed, knowing when to go back around and slow the game down.
Stroud is going to be the one pulling the strings here. You saw Daniel Rios earn a corner kick for his side. Nashville SC a chance to pack the box here with yellow jerseys. Taken short to Davis. Davis puts the cross on the top of the 6. Shawn Neal with the header. Nashville trying to keep it alive. And finally, New York Red Bulls, too, able to clear their lines. Stroud puts that one out of bounds. Up line aiming for Casares Jr., one of the stars of this team. Still a teenager. Casares. A lot of expectations for him this year, especially with the sale of Tyler Adams, New York Red Bulls to New York Red Bull Red Bull Leipzig.
Yeah.
And so Casares is going to be one of those guys which this system has been built to continue to fill in as guys move either inside MLS or outside MLS or into retirement. This New York Red Bull system is supposed to bring the next guy through and push them up.
It's an amazing platform for a lot of these players, an amazing team to be part of, because you get there's so many people watching, and you get games that are very, very similar in speed and intensity. So I got to play with Valo and Bezecourt, and they're excellent players. Derek Etienne. I mean, the Red Bulls have sort of paved the way to what this system should look like, and for young players, it's a really awesome opportunity.
You ever get annoyed that you're 5 years too late? You could have just stayed in New York and played all your games as a young guy.
Yeah, like I said, this is an awesome platform. I went over to England very early on, and the amount of emphasis that's placed on these games is much more than what I played in England. So this is a great opportunity for some of the younger guys to really bring energy to the game, really show what they can do, because the chance of getting into the MLS is very high.
Belmar here with some space. Carlton Belmar, a few appearances with Sporting KC last year. One of the leading goal scorers for Swope Park Rangers in their back-to-back Western Conference Finals appearances and USL Championship appearances. Belmar out of VCU. One of the most dangerous attacking players, and Coach Wolnick said before the game, this was a Nashville team that struggled to score at times last year. They brought in Daniel Rios, the second leading scorer in USL, Cameron Lancaster, who has set the record for goals scored in a single season, and Carlton Belmar, who had 11 goals and 6 assists last year. It's a pretty quick way to improve your attack.
Yeah, absolutely.
Going after every top goal scorer, add them all together and see what happens. Coach Smith still trying to mix it all together here in 2019, just 3 games into the season. The Scarlet comes over and handles that defensively. Like, what is the first few weeks of a season feel like? You come out of preseason, you finally get to live games. What's the experience individually and as a team?
It's always interesting to me that when you start the season, there's so many different feelings and lineups and thoughts and ways you're going to play. And towards the end of the season, it's totally different a lot of the times. So I think it's still early days, and they still need to feel each other out. The coach needs to feel which players he can trust, which formations that he can use, which works the best, and to see what he has. I once heard that really good coaches see what they have first and then build a team around it. And other than doing it the other way of, being so, set on the way you want to play. But interesting to see how the teams will shape up over the course of the season. Always is.
Lima looking for White over the top. Sparrow quick off his line to clear that one away. Belmar and Buckmaster going to battle there. And Casares gets it into the feet of Jordan Scarlett. Scarlett, the longest tenured New York Red Bull 2 player in history. Coming out of Iona here in the New York, New Jersey metro area. Casares Jr. earns that foul, so it'll be a free kick. As you see Coach Wolenek is taking over this New York Red Bull 2 team. Has made the playoffs every single year, has made the Eastern Conference Finals 3 straight years, and has 2 banners up there, the 2016 regular season and postseason championship. So it's been a pretty comfortable transition to head coach for John Wolenek.
Yeah, John's great at what he does. When I was around him, he'd always give us little pointers, give me little pointers about what I could do better, and I always listened, and they always helped me. So he's a guy that he has a lot of experience, and he's doing great. He's doing a great job.
What do you see from coaches in terms of where they played and how they coach? Wolenek, a center forward. Do you see differences when coaches were former strikers, former goalkeepers?
Well, yeah, John was a really good striker in the box, really good at finishing chances and really technical inside the box, and knew how to create space for himself inside the box. Good finisher. So when he used to give me pointers about things I could do better in the box, I'd always listen. When he talked to me about defending, I never listened to him. So, but no, I think different coaches have different takes on stuff, and it's always interesting. The last coach I played for was Greg Berhalter, and he was a center back. So organizations and the way he saw the game was more defensive and interesting, and the way he planned out attacks, it just always interesting.
Greg Berhalter, no longer coach of Columbus Crew SC, taking on a different job. Not quite sure what it is. New York Red Bulls 2 pushing into the attack now. Marcus Epps gets by the first defender. Can't find a teammate. Now Rito with the cross. Punched away by Sparrow. Dangerous look there for New York Red Bulls 2. New York Red Bulls 2 starting to put on a little sustained pressure. The home team looking for the first breakthrough here, just over 10 minutes played in this first half. Play thrown into Stroud.
You see Nashville is very compact, very organized in the box. It's just difficult to break teams like that down. Usually when you see that, you want to get the ball, when teams are deep and narrow, you want to get the ball wide and really put balls in the box and have them defend it, balls in behind the back line and right in that space that you kind of just saw now, it's behind the back line and in front of the goalkeeper. Really awkward balls to defend.
Gary Smith liking what he's seeing so far. Or Smith, 2010 MLS Cup champions with the Colorado Rapids after he came over from England. Smith then bouncing around in the United States, coaching spheres, spending some time with the Atlanta Silverbacks as the end of their NASL days, and now in his second season building from the ground up, which is in the world of soccer just a unique experience, building a franchise where you have 0 players from the ground up. And it's interesting, his first move was to bring Kosuke Komura and Matt Pickens, 2 senior players who had played under him and as player coaches, to sort of set the tone in his locker room and understand his philosophy.
Yeah, a lot of soccer organizations and successful teams, it's about who you trust. You want to build a team and you want to build a staff based on guys you trust, based on really good characters that have those same values that you have. And I think that's more important than sometimes getting guys that are really know a lot more about it. I think it's better to build your organization based on good characters and people that share the same values as you. I think that's important.
Select is the official supplier of the USL Championship. Many of the finest leagues in the world since 1947. Select has been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit selectsportsamerica.com. Epson to the feet of Stroud. Ryan White looking for a teammate. Lima back out wide for Marcus Epps. Feigns the first cross now. Sizing up his defender, floats it to the far post. Casares saves it, and Stroud's left-footed shot goes over the crossbar.
Yeah, really good there for Marcus, creating a little bit of space and chipping it towards the back post where they were a little bit naked, and just needs to be a better finish from Jared Stroud. But those are a lot harder than they look.
Casares Jr. making that run out of center midfield into that far post position to keep that ball alive. He was one of the players Coach Wolenek was talking to us pregame about. Just 19 years old, center midfield, such an important position of just getting more comfortable being a dominant player. And for guys, you never know when it's going to click, but you can see the talent on the field with him.
No question. He's been composed on the ball every single time. I don't think he's lost the ball yet, where a lot of the other players have lost it a bunch of times so far because it's just been a hectic start to this game. But he's very composed on the ball, and you can see he's fun to watch.
And as you say that, Mike Grella, congratulations. Welcome to the commentator's box.
There you go.
Commentator curse for Mike Grella. As Daniel Rios now off and running, gets a little shove from behind. Shawn Neal is called for the foul. It's going to be a good battle between those two here today, two 6-footers. Daniel Rios, as you said, out of Mexico City. Spent time for 5 years in the Chivas Academy and then a first-team player, but most of the time out on loan for Chivas. Shawn Neal is in just his about 3rd month as a professional soccer player. On the flip side, coming out of Hofstra.
Yeah, it looks comfortable.
Neal's brother played in Georgetown and was drafted by the Houston Dynamo, played some time with the New York Cosmos. So he has someone to ask some advice to. It'll be left-footed cross from Davis. And a foul called on the far side. Off the ball there. It looked like Michael Reed, the captain, pulling down Derek Etienne Jr. Reed in his 2nd year on this team as captain, 31 years old, out of University of New Mexico. Played the bulk of his career with Minnesota United and San Antonio. Epps able to get to that one first. Now Rito charging forward. The early cross is blocked, and it'll go out for a corner kick.
That was a really good piece of play there. Really good. All one touch, really fast. Everyone knew what they were going to do before they got the ball. That was good.
New York Red Bulls, too, starting to find some openings here as this first half rolls along. It'll be Chris Lima to take this corner kick. Left-footed in-swinger coming. Floats it over the head of everyone. Scarlett keeps it alive. Center back trying to show a little bit of flair there along the end line. And he runs himself out of bounds. All right.
The one thing you see about set pieces, set piece is such a big part of the game. I think they get overlooked. Even though we do spend a lot of time on them as players and coaches, I think they still do get overlooked. They're really good opportunities to be dangerous.
What was the focus? What was the preparation when you were with New York Red Bulls and this coaching staff and Chris Armas, Dennis Hamlet around set pieces?
We worked a lot at set pieces, and we knew how important they were. But I think you can't work on them enough. As a player, you're sort of over them after the first 30 minutes. But looking at the game from afar, I think you'll see that they're very important.
So a little conversation right now, coming off the back of that foul. Christian Casares Jr. earning another foul here. As we take a look at this replay, the first yellow card issued. You can see coming through the back of Casares' ankles there.
Yeah, I think those types of challenges sort of set the tone. I know when I played over in England, there was a lot of those, and they make you think twice about getting the ball in the midfield and turning it around. So they're purposeful challenges.
Vinny Vermeer who picks up the yellow card as Derek Etienne gives that one a blast. Vermeer, just 23 years old, out of the Netherlands. First yellow card of the game. We're starting to see a little more success in the attack right now for New York Red Bulls too. What's been working for them?
I think the game settled down a little bit. I think they've picked up second balls, like John was speaking about earlier. That's helped them. They've been very clear in their attack of what they want to do and how they want to do it. So they've been playing quickly. It's all one-touch, two-touch passes. They've gotten the ball wide a few times, and they've put in some dangerous crosses.
Scarlett with the clearance. Fortunately falls to the feet of Epps. Stroud's touch just a little too long, and Tribbett puts it over the top for Rios to chase. This is going to line up perfectly for Daniel Rios, and he puts his team up. Nashville SC on the road takes a 1-0 lead, and Daniel Rios, for a second year in a row, scores against New York Red Bulls 2.
Really good finish, in my opinion. Really good finish. You never know how the ball's going to react on the turf, so the ball goes over the back line, puts him in a difficult position to defend, kind of bounces a little higher than he must have thought, and put him in a really awkward position. Still a lot to do, though, to get around the goalkeeper and finish that. Really, really impressive finish. Good composure.
And when we talked about this matchup coming into the game, he talked about Coach Smith wanting to keep his team compact, not give up easy goals, make it hard to break them down, and then have that threat the other way. Working to perfection right now for Coach Gary Smith.
In my mind, I think, not that they work on that play, but I think that's the picture that they paint. You know, being very organized, being tough to play against. You saw the tough challenge in the midfield there. And then banking on putting difficult balls behind the back line, stretching the other team. So I think he'll be happy with that. But at the end of the day, it's still a really good finish.
Fans, you can follow New York Red Bulls 2 and the rest of the USL Championship all season long on ESPN+, home to the USL, MLS, UFC, and more. Join the over 2 million sports fans who have already discovered ESPN Plus and watch the championship live every week. Sign up today at espnplus.com. About 70 soccer games on every weekend on ESPN Plus between USL Championship, USL League One coming, Major League Soccer, Serie A, FA Cup, Dutch League. It's enough in retirement, Mike, to keep you involved.
Yeah, it's really an amazing thing. Looking back at it, people always ask me, how did you become a professional soccer player, or how did you become successful at certain things? And I think it's really important to watch the game. I think one of the most important things is watching the game, watching guys in your position, see what they do. Because I think in America you'll have a lot of athletic players who are very good technically as well, but I think making the right decision in the right moment comes from watching the game. So it's important. And now that ESPN Plus offers all these games, there's no excuses not to get on there and watch.
Another mistake out of the back here for New York Red Bulls 2. Carlton Belmar looking for an opening, goes one-on-one with Buckmaster. Was able to do enough defensively, but then Nealis puts his clearance straight out of bounds. And Nashville smelling some blood in the water right now. Quickly gets it back into play. White not able to win that battle with Doyle. Who were your guys when you were young? Who did you watch? Who did you idolize? Whose jersey did you buy?
I was a Francesco Totti and an Alessandro Del Piero fan big time. When I fell in love with the game, really fell in love with the game, it was during the '94 World Cup watching Roberto Baggio. I love players that make the game look easy, that play the game intelligently. I think that to me is what sort of made me really love the game, watching those type of players that are very creative and make things up as they go. I think that's always fun to watch them.
It was a curveball you threw 3 Italian playmakers out there on me. Did not see that one coming, Mike Rella. Not at all. Francesco Totti only playing till he was about 49 years old before he was ready to hang it up.
Yeah. And you sort of wish that it never ended.
Yeah, and it almost didn't have to. Yeah. He was so smart as a player that he could just keep going and going.
Yeah. Those guys have always enamored me. The way they play, the way they see the game. Even now after the game, just the way they speak and address the fans, and they were very loyal to both their clubs the whole time. So they're good role models, even outside of soccer.
Lima pushing this ball wide. New York Red Bulls 2 now. have to climb back from their first deficit here. Right as Red Bulls 2 started to find some tempo offensively and create chances. Daniel Rios struck. Rios chasing once again, but this one handled by Loro. So if you're Red Bulls 2, you're playing well, you give up the goal. How does this team now react to the deficit?
It's a really fine balance, because you want to press the issue now. You want to press the game. You want to, like they're doing, but there has to be some type of patience also. You know, you can't get it. It almost looks like there's a shot clock sometimes, and sometimes I think you need to pull it back around and just be more patient. But saying that, it's a fine balance, because it doesn't mean lethargic, and it doesn't mean passing the ball slow. It's quick movements, quickly moving the ball, and just being very patient and waiting on that moment to break the back line out.
For Daniel Rios, that's his second goal here of the 2019 season, and just the third game. Both of them unassisted. Shows you the threat he can be up top by himself. Injury here, it looks like Vermeer down once again. Vermeer out of the PSV Eindhoven Academy. His first year here in the United States. He's played his whole career in the Netherlands. Seems like maybe his foot got stepped on by Stroud as he was getting up.
That reaction is not the one you want to see, but in that replay, I didn't see much.
Vermeer picked up the only yellow card of the game so far. You see the conversation there in midfield, Christian Casares and Chris Lima playing as those two pivots behind the attacking four. What have you seen from their setup so far, the way they've handled this game?
Rebel 2, I think they've really played well. We're 27 minutes in. They've played well. Aside from the first 10 minutes where both teams were feeling each other out and the game's hectic, it usually is that way. I think they've played well. I think they've done what they wanted to do, and I think even after the goal, they've reacted well. I think they're in their end. They're drawing fouls. They're getting set pieces. They're getting the ball wide, crossing a lot of balls, and they've had good opportunities. They've had probably one or two good opportunities to score. So I think they just need to stick to it and continue doing what they're doing. But it's clear what they're doing. They're pushing the game. Their identity is intact, and it looks good.
Comfortable day to be outside. Spring finally hitting here in the Northeast. Balmy 60 degrees and sunny. We'll take it, right?
Absolutely.
Compared to the Arctic chills.
Absolutely. Minus the wind, it's really a beautiful day out.
You can't complain about that. When it's like this, well, this is the best we're going to get. Although, in fairness, I was on vacation in South America a few hours ago, so
that's nice.
It was 95 degrees,
yeah.
But I'll take 60 to come back to.
Well, it's been a mild winter to be fair, so we can't. You're right. We can't complain too much.
Vermeer back up, hopping now. We'll see if he can continue on the bench. Options for Coach Gary Smith. Most likely one would be former New York Red Bull 2 player Bolu Akinyode, Seton Hall graduate, Red Bull Academy player, and there he is, up and ready to come in. Akinyode playing New York Red Bulls 2 in their debut season in 2015. Made 22 appearances, 11 starts with 1 goal. He was captain of New York Red Bull PDL team, as well as their U16s when he was in the academy. Native of Lagos, Nigeria, but grew up here in New Jersey, so a great opportunity for him to get back out on the field in front of what will be a number of family and friends. Lima curls that one in. Scarlett with the opportunity, probably fell to the wrong guy.
Yeah, center back on his weaker foot. Is that correct? Yeah, so fell to the wrong guy. But really good ball in there. Again, set pieces. Part of Gary Smith also is he's big on set pieces, from what I remember, and he'll defend them well, and he'll get his fair share of attacking chances from them. So set pieces really, like I said before, really big part of the game.
Off to our left, Vinny Vermeer being helped back to the bench. So not what you want to see for an exciting young player in his first year with a new club. Coach Gary Smith and his staff will be hoping for the best. But now Bullock and Yode will have to step in and pick up where Vermeer left off in that defensive midfield spot. You had the opportunity. You went and played a number of years, then you come home. What was the first game like back in the New York area when all the friends and family can come and watch you in person?
It was awesome. Funny story. My first game back in New York, I was part of the starting lineup all week. We had I think it was 3 or 4 buses filled with family and friends that were coming to the game. And the day before the game, I had a really small tear in my hamstring that didn't allow me to play in the game. So we brought 3 buses, and I didn't even get to play. But right after that, the next game, I did play, and I scored. If I remember correctly, I think I scored. And whoever committed to come in again, it was a great experience for all of us. But playing in the New York area is awesome, really awesome. You get a lot of people who know what they're talking about and know what they're watching. You get some really loyal fans, and it's always a pleasure playing here.
Unlike the solid Brits that you were playing in front of beforehand. A chance to break now for Nashville. Turned over a little too easily.
No, to be honest, I loved playing in England. It was a really awesome experience. Some of the fans are just die hard, and they also know what they're talking about, and soccer's religion there, so it was really a pleasure playing there also.
Never a bad move to go from Duke University to the home of the game. A couple Duke players in the New York Red Bull system now, Sean Davis and Brian White.
That's right. Sean's, both of them really great guys. Not because they're Duke guys. They really are nice guys, and they work hard. They take it seriously. They work very hard, and they're good players. They're very talented.
What was the jump like from college to the professional game?
I think when I first went over, I signed for Leeds United, and I think the physicality of the game was unbelievable. I couldn't believe how these guys that were 6'3", over 200 pounds were just as fast as me, a lot stronger than me, and I think the physicality was tough. Being a professional for the first time after college, you got to eat right and train well, and it's tough. It's tough.
Turnover. Nashville SC now back out on the counter. Daniel Rios has shown how lethal he can be. Sets up Davis here, the left-footed shot, just inches wide. Once again, the counterattack on the cards for Nashville SC, inches away from going 2-0 up here, Mike.
Yeah, unfortunately, the one weakness of the Red Bull system is that you're going to be susceptible to counterattacks. There's just no way around it. So you see the back line, they're dropping as fast as they can. You see the keepers up a little bit higher to try to prevent any sort of real danger. But because the Red Bull 2 is pressing the game and pushing the fact and really playing well, I think you're always going to see space in behind our back line, and that's always going to be something you have to deal with.
When you come to this team under Jesse Marsh at the time, Chris Armas, the assistant coach, and they start talking to you about the system and how they want you to play, how different was it from what you had already experienced in the pro game?
So exciting. So exciting. I think the reason why I was successful was because of the system and because of the coaching staff that I had. It was just something that was so exciting to be part of. It's very clear. It's very defined. It's very simple what we're looking to do. Through the years, we made it more intricate, but it's such a good system and a fun system to play especially if you're an attacking player. For the center backs in the back line, like I was mentioning before, it's difficult because there's a lot of space behind you that you're naturally going to have to always defend and figure out. So you're going to always have fast strikers that are trying to run in behind you, or you're going to be outnumbered a lot of the time. So it's hard to defend, but also still it's fun. It's fun to defend that.
It's not always something people think you're going to hear for attacking players, a system where the first thing you say is pressing, which isn't in possession, to be fun. But you're saying it still gives you that freedom to attack and create the way you want to.
Well, you win the ball a lot more times than not up the field, higher up the field. So the positions you're winning the ball is is better because you're getting easier chances at goal. And I'll be honest, I think you do run less because you're making this pressing motion. And as soon as that pressing motion is done, yeah, you're tracking back and you're looking back and you're pressing backwards as well. But a lot of the times when you're part of a team that's not pressing, you're shifting back and forth so many times that even though you're not doing it high intensity, you really are doing a lot of running because you're shifting back and forth. But when you're pressing, it's exciting because you're going full speed and you really have a good chance of winning the ball in a favorable position.
New York Red Bulls building their foundation on this system, basically from Europe all the way through the Americas, of course. Jesse Marsh, after coaching you, a number of other players, winning some supporter shields, some playoff series, heading over to Europe to try his hand with Leipzig. One of the few American coaches, really. They job at a high-profile European club. And now Chris Armas, the head man. What do you remember from working with Chris?
Chris is great. I can't say enough about Chris. And if you speak with anyone in Long Island or all over the country about Chris, they'll give you the same answer, and everybody loves him. So he's a really nice person. He's really good at what he does. I mean, as a player, he's someone you could really look at and admire his work rate.
Epps' cross is knocked back out the other way. Buckmaster quickly to get it in. Did you grow up going to Rough Riders games?
I went to a few.
I did as well.
And
I was less inspired than you. I was inspired to like watch soccer more. You were inspired to play it.
yeah, I watched soccer at a really young age. I mean, I was born of Italian immigrant parents, and soccer was like every Saturday, Sunday we sat down and watched soccer together. So it was sort of not forced, but it was on all the time, and it was something we watched all the time and learned about all the time. So I learned to love it.
Nashville taking their time here. For Nashville, playing compact, they get the 1-0 lead. What have you seen from them since they've taken that lead?
Yeah, they're just it's what we sort of expected. Very, very well organized. It looks like they're in two banks of four, and if you see the spaces between the midfield line and the defensive line are always really short. So where you'd want to see Jared, our number 10, where you'd want to see him in that hole turning and creating opportunities, it's really difficult because they're so narrow and compact. There's not much space to work in between the lines.
Nashville SC looking for their second win of the season. New York Red Bulls too as well. Trying to stay undefeated, but trailing 1-0 here. You can hear the crowd from the cheers from the Nashville SC bench. Pushing their team on. Davis with the long touch. Now pressuring Casares. Christian Casares coming away with the ball. Trapped deep in his own half. Good battle between him and Davis. And finally the foul gets called in favor of the New York Red Bull 2 player.
You really like to see that composure there. That's something that I've always admired, having composure no matter where you are on the field. I think defending, whether you're a midfielder or a defender or a striker, I think defending is about retaining possession of the ball. I think it's just too easy to win the ball and kick it out of play, or win the ball and just kind of heave it up the field. I think there's situations that needs to happen, but a lot of the times I think defenders need to take more pride in not only just winning the ball in a challenge, but also retaining the possession of the ball, making the right pass with the right weight so that the team could get out of that pressure. And you saw that there with Christian.
Get updates and alerts all year long by following your club on ESPN.com. Search for New York Red Bulls 2, and then click the follow button, or Nashville SC to keep up with the latest news and scores, plus get reminders on New York Red Bulls 2. Next match, go to ESPN.com now and click follow for your club. Sparrows able to come out and take that one cleanly. Their offside flag was up. Nashville SC managing this first half to perfection. They got comfortable in the opening minutes on the road. Took an early lead and have guided their way through this one since then, as Rios goes down holding his face. earning the free kick. If you're Coach Wolenek, 5 more minutes, you go into the locker room. What's the message to these players?
I think it's to continue to do a lot of the things that they are doing. I think they're on the right track. I think there's been some really good bits of play. On the flip side of that, I think they could be a little bit more patient. When they win the ball in their own area, you could see Nashville's really dropping off and really getting set up in their 2 banks of 4 and making it difficult for the Red Bull 2 team. So I think a little bit more patience in the final third. If you don't see something that's on direct, that's clearly on, that's going to give us a good opportunity, I think you need to slow things down, get it wide, cross balls, keep a little bit more composure.
Davis clips this one towards the far post. Initially won by Neal, is still alive in the box though for Nashville. Belmar's shot is blocked. And now Rito, the first one to it. Rito clipping it up the field towards Stroud. Davis wins back possession to his fullback partner in Kosuke Kimura. We talked about the experience along this Nashville back line. 2 fullbacks with heavy years of professional experience, 2 center backs who have played together now over the last few months. It's been hard for New York Red Bull 2 to find gaps and openings.
And it's frustrating to play against sometimes. You'll see there simple throw-in, should be control and pass back, and he passes that out of play. It's because it's frustrating to play against. There's not much space, and it becomes more difficult to find spaces, and you start to question what you're doing. You start to force things more, and it sort of plays into what Nashville wants. But you need to keep composure in this final third here, and not always go unless it's really on, because they're sitting back, sort of waiting for you.
Belmar now. Maloto trying to launch the counterattack. Haven't seen a lot of Lebo Maloto yet. Long time successful attacker in the USL Championship. Maloto first for the Pittsburgh Riverhounds and Swole Park Rangers, and now Nashville SC. 7 goals and 5 assists last year. The follow-up 7 goals with Swole Park Rangers in 2017. South African attacker. Another foul going in favor of Nashville. If you're Coach Smith, you go into the locker room, not much to change for your team.
I don't think so. I think he's got what he wants from the game so far. You're playing away from home. It's difficult to play. You're playing against a very good team. You've got a 1-0 lead. They sort of need to, the Red Bull 2 needs to come to Nashville and make the game happen. So I think they're quite comfortable, and I think there's not really much to say unless there's other things that they want to work on. But I think there's not really much to say or to change the game. I think they're doing exactly what they want to do.
Tribbett won the header but couldn't direct it on frame. New York Red Bulls to a few moments here to try and find a late goal in this first half. Right now, Daniel Rios' 22nd minute strike, his 2nd of the season.
See, anytime you play central, it's sort of what they want. They're really compact, and the two lines are almost on top of each other, the midfield line and the back line. So it's really difficult to play central passes like that.
And you see a player in Stroud. So you want to see him go wide and link up with the wingers, or do you want him to give them their space so that they can be isolated?
No, I think he still needs to occupy that middle space, and he needs to be an extra number in the box. At times, he can go out wide, so he can create the purpose of a true number 10 is to create imbalances on the wings. So if any side that he shifts to, there's going to be more numbers for Red Bull 2. So if he can shift just slightly side to side and create and outnumber them on the sides, get the ball wide and get balls back in the box, I think that's the way to play against teams that are sitting back like this. Anything central just gets 8 and up.
Scarlett and Nealis knocking it around here. Nashville SC right now, so comfortable. Saw LaGrassa pick up that turnover. But the away side jumping on every mistake right now from New York Red Bull 2. The layoff here from White. Stroud's shot is blocked. Buckmaster runs it down as we enter stoppage time. It'll be a minimum of 3 minutes of stoppage time here. White's pass just inches away as Nashville playing out of the back there.
Yeah. That's what sort of ties into what I was saying before. If you don't, when you're defending, if you win the ball and you find someone up the field, you'll see there they found Daniel Rios, and he's done a pretty good job at holding the ball up. He plays there one touch and spins, and it creates all sorts of trouble for the defending team, because now you've got to track back a large amount of space, and then you have third man running, fourth man running up the field. And just that play, just by not kicking it, paying more attention to detail in that situation, and finding your striker with the with the correctly weighted pass, he can play one touch, and now you guys are off to the races, and you create a counterattack situation versus just losing the ball and you're defending again.
Nashville earning another free kick here in the first half. LaGrassa not able to keep possession. Etienne Jr. stealing some cookies from Kosuke Kimura. Able to find a teammate, trying to spark a little life into this team he's captaining. And now Epps on the run. Marcus Epps with the early shot into the stomach of Connor Sparrow.
Another good sequence there, starting with a lot of composure from Derek, and really clever play from Derek as well.
Derek Etienne Jr. wearing the captain's armband today, his first USL appearance of 2019, and you see Marcus Epps here got a little space, just didn't get that shot to either side of the keeper.
Yeah, that's an interesting one to me. Keeper looked like he was really central there, so I don't know if you could have snuck that into the near post really hard and low or hard and high. But in most of the time in that situation, you want to hit it across the goalkeeper and let him have a difficult time either pushing it out or hitting the far post. And that's probably the textbook shot that you want to hit in the far post. But there, the goalkeeper looked really central. It'd be interesting to see what would happen if he hit one really low and hard near post.
Epps a goal and an assist last week, but Coach Wolenek said that's the next step in his game, is that final level of production, as we get the free kick here from Davis. Laurel takes it easily.
Yeah, you'll see Brad do that a lot as one of the best finishers in the game. He hits it near post a lot of the good strikers, and I think you'll see that the goalkeeper, that's a really difficult shot to defend. They always leave a little space there, and they always expect him to dive on the far post. So if you can hit one hard and low on the near post, if there's enough space there, those are really tricky shots for the goalkeepers to defend.
Casares able to keep that one in. Lima picking up the second ball. New York Red Bull 2 looking for a last gasp chance here in the end of the first half. Lima sneaks that one into the feet of Buckmaster. Back out for Etienne. His cross is blocked. And Akinyode steers it away. 22nd minute goal from Daniel Rios. Holding on right now for Nashville SC. We're a 1-0 lead. Mike, final thoughts here on the first half. What stood out for you in this first half?
It's exactly what we expected. I think you see Red Bull 2 pressing the game, not really pressing too much because they've had the ball a lot, but they're in the Nashville end. They're constantly trying to find ways through. They've had a few really good chances. Nashville, super low, super deep, super compact, and it's exactly what we expected. I think for the second half, the Red Bull 2 needs to definitely get wide and get some Bolton bucks.
We'll see what happens. We've got first half highlights and stats and second half action coming up here in just a moment on ESPN+.
With MSG Go, the game goes where you go. So you can watch live Red Bulls games anywhere you want. It's free and easy because if you get MSG, you get MSG Go. Watch your favorite team wherever you are with MSG Go, presented by Lexus. Download it for free where you get your apps.
Brian White gets his first of the game.
Lancaster denied by Laurel.
His low shot off the post and in. touchdowns, got his hat trick. New York Red Bulls 2 take a 4-goal lead. Beautiful day for soccer in the New Jersey area as New York Red Bulls 2 hosting Nashville SC for the second time ever. Nashville with a lead as Daniel Rios has done his job here with the 22nd minute goal to put his team ahead. And we get a chance to talk about a legend. Mike Corella, Long Island native, Duke University, 10-year professional career. You played with New York Red Bulls 2 for 2 years. Second fastest goal in MLS history.
Is it the second fastest now?
Yeah.
Really? Who beat it?
I wish I had studied for that one. It's going to come to me in the middle of the second half, and, of course, the great nickname, Grilladinho.
Yeah.
You had a chance to play for this New York Red Bull team, win some trophies as well.
Yes.
What does it mean to be a part of this club?
It's always nice. It's always nice to be back. I went to the game last week against San Jose, and it's always nice to be back. It feels like I'm back with my friends, back with family. I always feel at home here, so I'm always honored to be part of it.
And what do you think of the nickname?
The nickname's interesting. When I first heard it, it made me laugh, but then it's kind of just sort of stuck, and some of the boys call me that now, so it's
by that you mean your kids?
Cool. Yeah. No, some of the guys in the locker rooms everywhere I went, they shortened it to Dino, but I don't know. It's a fun name.
Yeah, I mean, you and Ronaldinho, you guys
Similar,
are a pair.
yeah.
Frank Lampard would agree. Frank Lampard's been burned by both many, many times. Mike Corella hanging it up, though.
Yeah.
Coming to join me in the booth.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought this would be a really cool experience for me and keep me busy. It's been a few months now where I haven't really done much, so this is a good day. Get up and get going and talk about the thing I love most. So yeah, I decided to move on after the cartilage damage in my left knee. Left knee never really felt the same. It kind of took the fun out of the game for me, and so I decided to move on.
Mike Corella, though, one of the great players in New York Red Bull history, and of course some time in England with some of the best clubs in the world. Now taking the time to sit with us. We'll be back in just a moment with his thoughts on the first half here on ESPN+. back at Montclair State University, MSU Soccer Park, taking a look around the USL. Tampa Bay Rowdies once again loading up for the 2019 season to make a push for the championship. Already a good start for them. You see New York Red Bulls 2 in a points tie with Nashville SC between 8th and 10th place, but a range of games played as we are still at the early part of the season. And you look through the rest of the standings in the USL Championship, of course, the newly named USL Championship. Let's take a look at the out-of-town scoreboard for this weekend. St. Louis and Tampa already battling to a tie. Louisville City FC bouncing back with a victory. Charleston and Atlanta United, a big 3-3 tie between those two, and Real Monarchs have been on fire to start the season. See one of the new clubs in Memphis, 901 FC, who have gotten some huge crowds in Memphis already. A 0-0 draw with Bethlehem Steel. USL Championship in just 3 weeks so far. One of the big storylines in Charlotte. 2 goals in stoppage time. Atlanta United 2. Romario Williams with a hat trick. Luca Lobos, fast start. 5 goals in 3 games. And the Real Monarchs, as I said, cruising by LA Galaxy 2. New York Red Bull 2, part of the MLS 2 teams that are building some young players for the future. LA Galaxy 2 putting together a player in Efra Alvarez that everyone has been amazed by over the last few weeks. And we take a look at the stats. 1 goal for Nashville SC, 2 shots on target. And you've talked about a possession for New York Red Bull 2, but that isn't always a good thing. They've gotten some shots away. They've had some half chances, but no golden opportunities.
You know, people say possession's not always a good thing, but I think that's wrong. I think possession is always a good thing, because most of the time over the course of a season, if you have that type of possession of the ball, you're gonna find ways to win, and that's indicative of the game. I think the Red Bull 2 have had the ball a lot and have pressed the game a lot. So I think there's a lot of positives to take from their side.
For Nashville SC, coming off a loss at home to St. Louis. A perfect start to this one. Coach Smith will be quite happy with what he's seen so far. We'll be back in just a moment with all your second half action coming up here on ESPN+.
With MSG Go, the game goes where you go. So you can watch live Red Bulls games anywhere you want. It's free and easy because if you get MSG, you get MSG Go. Watch your favorite team wherever you are with MSG Go, presented by Lexus. Download it for free where you get your apps.
New York Red Bulls, too, getting ready to come back out on the field to try and battle back in the sun on a perfect day for soccer here at MSU Soccer Park. Let's take a look at the first half highlights here on ESPN Plus. For New York Red Bulls, too, coming out with a bright start. Marcus Epps, 1 goal, 1 assist in his first game of the season, sparking the attack down the right wing. Brian White, 10 goals last year, trying to get back into the swing of things as he returns from an offseason injury. But he hasn't had a whole lot to feed on at that center forward position as this Nashville SC team, this back line has closed down every opening. The one big chance for Jared Stroud for New York Red Bulls too, going missing as Edgardo Rito has flown forward from the right back spot all game, creating opportunities for the home side. For Nashville SC, you go on the road, be stout defensively, and take what you can offensively. Daniel Rios, 2 games against New York Red Bulls, 2 goals. His USL career, the second leading scorer in the USL Championship in 2018. And now 2 goals already in just 3 games here in 2019. A great strike by the young Mexican youth international, who is going to be one of the faces of the franchise for years to come in Nashville. Upcoming schedule for New York Red Bulls too, a 3-game homestand to start the year, as it'll be Memphis and 901 FC coming in to play them on Friday here at MSU Soccer Park. And then they go on the road to face one of the new boys in Birmingham Legion. For Nashville SC, they go north to Ottawa before going home to host Memphis 901 at Middle Tennessee Stadium. They have had so much success, First Tennessee Park. They've had so much success in their early going as a franchise. Looking for the road victory here. Started out the year with a 2-0 win over Loudoun United at home. Goals by Cameron Lancaster and Daniel Rios. As you see, for New York Red Bull 2, their success. 2016 regular season champion set. Goals scored, goals conceded, and points record before running over Swell Park Rangers in the final 5-0 to win their first USL championship. Coach Wolnick now 3 straight Eastern Conference championships. An extra time and a penalty kick shootout loss to Louisville City has been the demise for his team. Trying to build to bigger and better things in 2019. And for this Nashville SC team, year 1 in the books, a playoff appearance, getting their feet under them, but year 2 is where they're looking to rise and shine. As I mentioned in the open, the additions of Rios, Belmar, Lancaster, some of the best goal scorers this league has ever seen. As Gary Smith looks for that extra edge to try and put a first trophy in the cabinet for Nashville SC. 1 substitution in the first half, an injury brought Bolo Akinyode on midway through the first half. Akinyode, former Red Bull Academy player, playing in at central midfield. Otherwise, these 2 teams coming out the same lineups they started the games with. New York Red Bulls 2 in their home red, going right to left on your monitors. And Nashville SC in their head-to-toe all yellow kits, going left to right. David Goss and Mike Grella here on ESPN Plus on the broadcast for you. We'll see if New York Red Bull 2 have what it takes to find the opening in the second half. Sparrow comes out quickly. We'll be back in possession of the home side. Marcus Epps, a bright first half. A couple chances and half chances created, a couple shots on goal for him. Turns it over that time, though, to Akinyode.
Yeah, I think you'll see there with Red Bull 2 had a chance to counterattack and just not patient enough. Just not the right ball, not the right timing, and I think makes the wrong decision there. So
White, as we said, Still working his way back from injury. Does have a minutes limit on. So he has a little bit more to go here. The New York Red Bulls, too, have some attacking options on the bench. Tom Barlow, 2 goals in the opening game of the season. An option off the bench, Sebastian Elney, U.S. Youth International out of University of Maryland, and, of course, Ben Mines, the 18-year-old homegrown attacker. Stroud with the clip up towards White, flicks it back for Stroud. And that right-footed volley goes wide.
Yeah, with Tom Barlow scores 2 goals in the first game. And
then he's on the bench.
And then he's on the bench. I would say, as a player, as a professional, his career is still so young. I think you have to maintain a balance, you know, even when because it's a roller coaster, and there'll be moments that things are so great, and you got to sort of stay level-headed, and then there'll be moments where you're so down in the dumps, and at the same time you got to sort of stay in that middle level, because that will give you a longer, more healthy career.
Stroud looking for the through ball, but it's too far for Etienne Jr. Did you have older players that mentored you or that you would talk with earlier in your career?
Yeah, I did. I had a player named Jonathan Douglas who always helped me out and always would speak to me. And a lot of the times I just watched him and learned from him the way he was a professional, the way he spoke to other people, the way he trained, the way that he helped the young guys. So I learned a lot from just watching him more than speaking to him. But even when we had our chats, it's very important to maintain mentally a level of balance, you know, not getting too full of yourself, always remaining somewhat humbled. And also there's plenty of bad moments as well in your career, whether it's through injury or you're not playing or change of coaches or whatever it is, and you need to maintain that confidence in yourself and that level of intensity every day that you go to work, regardless of the current situation.
Yeah, Red Bulls too trying to work through this game. What do you think the tone was at halftime inside the locker room for a team that had 65% possession, created 6 or 7 half chances, a few shots on goal, but trailed 1-0 off what was a mistake in the back?
I'm not sure what it was, but I hope that it was, let's continue doing more of the same. Just be a little bit more clean, just be a little bit cleaner in front of goal in the last latter third, and don't force it so much. I hope it was that, and I'm sure John can take a lot of positives from the first half. But of course, they've had chances to score, and that could have been better as well.
Sparrow to take this free kick long. Belmar able to win it to Rios. Collision by Red Bull 2 defenders. Rios clips this one up. A chance now for Nashville. Off the post and out. LaGrassa able to run it down. A second bite at it, and Loro brings it down. But once again, Nashville SC inches away from doubling their lead.
Yeah, I think you're seeing with Nashville what they're doing. A big part of their game is that long ball in the channel and creating a lot of confusion with flick-ons and holding the ball up. You know, big, stronger strikers that can flick and hold the balls on. And you'll see there, it creates the back line a lot of issues. It's not the prettiest of football, but it does create issues. It does create issues. It does create chances. And you see that one there from nothing. It was a long ball, sort of a flick on, bunch of confusion, and ends up with a really good opportunity to score. Pretty good strike, hits the post.
LaGrassa with the left-footed strike there, grazing the outside of the post. There'll be a free kick coming here for Nashville. Davis clips it to the far post once again. Akinyode keeps it alive. His cross is put in. Buckmaster can't get it too far. Nashville keeping it alive here. Akinyode's in an onside position on the end line. And finally, New York able to at least spray it out of bounds and get a moment of relief. Kamara with the early ball in. Tribbett knocks it down. Scarlett pushes it away.
You get that long ball. It's like a 50-yard floating pass, 40-yard floating pass. It looks like it doesn't look pretty, but it is effective. If you get a guy who can go up and win the first one and knock it down to somebody in the box, it creates a lot of uncertainty.
Moloto trying to find LaGrasse's feet. This is the first time you've seen Daniel Rios in person. What have you thought of the young striker so far?
Yeah, good. I thought his finish was really excellent. His composure. He seems to be a strong guy who can hold up the ball, and I could see why Gary likes him a lot. He seems like he has a very well-rounded game.
Rios continuing to cause a threat here in the second half after giving the goal to give the lead in the first half. And we said 20 goals last season for Rios. Has scored everywhere he's gone. Made 2 Copa MX appearances for Chivas Guadalajara. Was on the bench a couple times, but did not appear in a Liga MX game. And then spent time on loan at Coras, as well as Atletico Zacatepec in the Mexican Ascencio. Derek Etienne Jr. in an offside position. It was close there. As White didn't get a touch to the through ball, and Etienne on the far side, on the near side, had spun off that defender and was out off and running.
Yeah, and it almost gets away with one there. Almost breaks that offside, that little bit of an offside trap, and almost is in on the goal. I think in that counterattack, it's important to maintain a little bit of width, especially when you have your winger there and your striker there. I think it's really important to maintain a little bit of width, because I know in the Red Bull system, I know that you want to be narrow and more direct to goal and running behind a lot, which is great, very important for that system for success. But at times there's it's either a timing issue or a spacing issue where you need to maintain your width a little bit longer and then dart at the right moment. So he almost got that right.
Neal is into the feet of Buckmaster. Reese Buckmaster, a right back at IU, and their run to a College Cup last year, across from Herman Mack Trophy winner Andrew Gutman at left back, but because of Yanez's international call-up, injuries and shuffling in other places, Buckmaster playing at left back here today. Quick passing here for New York. Rito with the early cross hits the feet of Doyle and out for a corner.
There's been a lot of those little sequences of play where we win a ball in the Red Bull 2 wins a ball in the midfield, and it's bang, bang, bang. 3 or 4 passes, the ball's wide, and it's looking to get whipped in behind.
Stroud, his shot blocked as Red Bulls 2 took the corner quickly. Rito now losing possession, but only to the feet of Lima. Epps in a little bit of space. Puts that one across, and it's headed in.
Great goal.
Marcus Epps finds some space, and Brian White is back with the bang.
And that's what you get from Brian White. I don't think he's touched the ball much today. You would say he hasn't done much, and maybe he hasn't played great. But that's what you want from your striker. You don't really need him to play great. He hasn't touched the ball really and hasn't done much, but he gets a really good goal here.
We've talked about Epps' product in the final third. This time, composed and finds a teammate.
Yeah, he's intelligent. He knows that he doesn't need to do much. He needs to get in front of the first guy. He does that. He gets a pretty good ball in. Brian White finds some space, and he just as clean as can be, heads it home.
We are level here at MSU Soccer Park. Brian White's first goal of 2019.
Interesting start to the second half. Nashville didn't sit back. They looked like they were pushing into the Red Bull 2 end a lot and looking to play long balls and create a bit of danger, create a second chance. And the space was on their end of the field, and so we were able to exploit that with a really good sequence of play, get the ball wide, and then from there, that goal sort of comes from a set piece, a continuation of the set piece.
Nealis will clip this one over the top. Took Less than 10 minutes here in the second half. New York Red Bulls 2 to tie it up. We'll see if there's a difference maker out there on the field to separate these two squads over the next 40 or so minutes. Rito here one-on-one with Belmar. Finds the feet of Epps. Epps with another cross, this time won by Liam Doyle in yellow. Epps gets by one defender, and Davis stays with it and is able to win it back. What have you thought of Marcus Epps coming out here bright in the second half?
Yeah, he's looked well composed. Every time he's touched the ball, looks like he's creating a little bit of danger. Obviously, he gets the assist. I'm really impressed with Christian. You know, just the simple technique, the simple switches of the ball. I think that's all ties into being patient. When a team wants to sit in and be narrow, and you switch the point of attack, and you constantly switch it if it's not on, it's hard for them to keep shifting back and forth. And sooner or later, spaces open up, and there's opportunities get created just through the simple switching of the field.
So another dangerous free kick coming up. It'll be Chris Lima to take. New York Red Bull, former academy player, Georgetown Hoya. And Lima with the left-footed service. Nashville defending with all 11 here. It's knocked down in the box. Casares wins the first header, but Epps' touch is to only a player in yellow, and now Moloto up the line. Good battle right now for possession, and another free kick earned by Christian Casares. He has controlled play at times. Now Etienne Jr. linking up with Epps, and Doyle reads that one. Liam Doyle's been quick to most of the balls that have been played in the box, and Scarlett gets the foul called against him.
I'm not sure if that's a foul, but he has been overly aggressive at times. There's really not much that the striker can do there. You got to be aggressive and you got to be strong, but sometimes you got to be just be smart in certain situations, because now they get the ball, they relieve themselves some pressure, they get the ball, at midfield, and they're slowing the game down again.
So the 9th foul called against New York Red Bulls 2, 13 so far against Nashville SC. 1 yellow card either way, although the yellow card for Nashville was to Vinny Vermeer, who's gone off with an injury in the first half. Etienne Jr. in the captain's armband, battling away with Kosuke Kimura. Etienne able to change the point of attack, keeps possession. And Davis safely puts that one out for a corner kick. Good one-man counterattack, though, from Derek Etienne Jr. to start that one.
Yeah, good powerful run down the left side there. The game's opened up a little bit.
It'll be Lima to come over to take this corner kick. Left-footed in-swinger. Right on the hands of the goalkeeper. Much to Mike Grella's dismay.
Yeah, again, set pieces are so important. Just to give them away is not really what you want to do.
And with all the fouls we've seen between these two teams, there's been a lot of opportunities for both sides. Not a whole lot of production. Rios wins another header. Loro's had a quiet second half. Fortunate to see the Grassa's shot skim the post, keeping his team in it. Epps now charging into space. Tribbett can't get his shoulder into him. Epps now with an opportunity. Sparrow knocks it down. Still alive in the box. And the second cross is caught by the goalkeeper.
Another good run from Epps. Really good run. Good composure to take the ball down and turn, and then get a good powerful run in there, and it seemed like a very good strike.
First time we've seen him really go to his left side in this game.
Yeah, again, that angle is difficult. It's easier for the goalkeeper, but maybe low and hard on the far post. But you can't be too picky. It was really, really good action from him.
Who's up, who's down? Where does your club sit? Find out every Monday in the official USL Championship Power Rankings, only on USLChampionship.com. Of course, now with an ever-expanding league, 34 teams in the USL Championship. USLChampionship.com, your only place to keep up to date. We've seen amazing new additions in El Paso and New Mexico, as well as in Memphis and Birmingham. Thousands of new fans coming into the league from across the United States and Canada to support what is the fastest growing soccer league in the world, the biggest Division II. Tom Barlow is up and ready to go for New York Red Bulls 2. Nashville also about to make a substitution. We'll see who it is. It looks like it might be Alan Wynn, the former U.S. Youth International winger, getting ready to come on. And we'll see what this means for Coach Smith. Brian White holding his face after the play. So our head official, John Freeman, holding play for just a moment. So Barlow up, handing his papers in, as is Wynn. Barlow, we said it, 2 goals in the opening game of the season against Swope Park Rangers. Tall, but Coach Wolenek has said the fastest player on the team, a player who can go up top and cause headaches for opposing teams. Buckmaster clears that one out. Beautifully done by Reed. Akinyode keeping the ball for Nashville. Nice contingent of the roadies here on, can't say anything else, but on the road.
Yep.
Nashville SC already getting some great support. So as we see official confirmation of the substitutions. So it'll be Lebo Moloto to come off for Alan Wynn. And as we expected, Brian White, a minutes limit, 64 minutes. Mike, and you said it, not a lot from him except for the one thing he's out there to do.
Yeah, and that's what you want. There's a lot of good center forwards that at times they want to do so much that they get caught up. They get caught in the channels. And the best center forwards stay in between the lines of the box, the width of the 18-yard box, and they get goals. And that's what he does. You want him to be dangerous in the box, and the whole time he was just sniffing out the goal. So great finish.
So now you bring on Barlow, who brings more speed and a little bit more height and fresh legs to try and test this Nashville SC back line here for these final 30 minutes. Alan Wynn, it looks like, will be a like-for-like change with Lebo Moloto on the flip side. Wynn, great pedigree as a youth player out of Texas, USU 17 residency player. Went to soccer powerhouse UNC. Ever heard of it? The soccer power of the ACC.
Unfortunately, I've heard of UNC.
Was a Mac Herman semifinalist and a second-team All-American. His final year at UNC, 11 goals, 2 assists. That one rolls into the arms of Sparrow. Win here in his second year with Nashville at 4 goals, 3 assists last year. His first in the professional soccer game. No more residency, it's over.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. When did it end?
About a year or 2 ago.
Oh, wow.
Now, you have local clubs. You can play for your local USL team, local MLS academy.
Yeah, this is
rise through the ranks.
I mean, you can't say it enough. What a great platform this is for young players, for players with a lot of talent. This is just awesome, and it definitely getting soccer in this country headed in the right direction. You've got some really good talents on display here today, and the door to get into the MLS from here is wide open.
For you, being a part of it, coaching?
No idea. No idea. I don't want to make too many decisions too early on. I think I want to take some time and spend time with the family and sit back and see what's next, you know, sort of slowly, and make sure I do something that I really love and something that's exciting. But not sure. Not sure that I think I would make an okay coach, but not sure if it's a passion of mine yet. We'll see.
Daniel Rios still down from this collision. Well, with stoppage time, you've got like 27 minutes to decide what you're going to do with your career after this. So, don't rush. We'll give you time. Although, as you said with John Wolyniec, people would listen to you when it comes to attacking, but defending.
Yeah, not so much. Yeah, not so much. I could see that.
That's why you bring in Ibrahim Sakaya to coach to be your defensive coach.
Yeah, I actually got to train and play against Ibrahim. He's a tough competitor. Not a really good passer to the ball. Not sure people know how good he actually was and is. Really impressive defender. Full package, strength, very good on the ball. Really nice guy.
Captain of the Ugandan national team.
Yeah.
One of those you don't often see on TV.
Yeah, that's true.
But
Unless, yeah.
Pops in and out every once in a while. So Rios back out on the field. He will be able to continue. Both teams have their substitutes up. When you're an attacking player like Barlow, like Wynn, you come in off the bench, a 1-1 game. What's the coach saying to you? What are you trying to do in your first few minutes out there?
You've definitely got to bring loads of energy because you've got fresh legs. And I think you can see that with Tom. He looks ready to go. But definitely loads of energy, and you're playing against guys who've played already for 60-some-odd minutes. And you definitely have a step on them, and you're definitely mentally more focused. You got to be waiting for your opportunity. But mental preparation before that, up until that moment, until you get into the game, is very, very important. Make sure you're mentally prepared for the game.
Fans, you can follow New York Red Bulls too in the rest of the USL Championship all season long on ESPN Plus, home to USL, MLS, UFC, and more. Join the over 2 million sports fans who have already discovered ESPN Plus and watch the championship live every week. Sign up at ESPN.com, ESPNplus.com. So it looks like a free kick in a dangerous area in favor of New York Red Bulls too. Chance for the home team to try and take their first lead of the afternoon. We've seen Chris Lima serve in a number of balls with that smooth left foot, but Derek Etienne Jr. standing over this one as well. Mike, you looking for the clip over the top in the middle of the box or a shot here?
You can go either way. I think it's a dangerous position for both. It seems a little far, but sometimes from that distance, it's easier to get it up and over the wall. And I think if you clip one in the back post, it's sort of unexpected. So because it's so central, it could go either way, really.
A right foot and a left foot standing over this one here. We enter the 70th minute. It'll be Lima to take. He definitely got it over the wall, but never got it to drop back down.
Yeah, not quite. I mean, those are not easy. It's inches that you're missing the ball there. That shot could end up really, really well, but it's just ballooned over.
We see the replay of that one. One that Lima will not want to watch again. New York Red Bulls, too, starting the season with 3 home games. Historically, they've started seasons quite slow. Understandable for a team that has wholesale changes year after year. But with a home stretch, an opportunity maybe to get some points on the board early. Marcus Epps' afternoon will be done in place of the 18-year-old Red Bull homegrown player in Ben Mines. Mines will have about 20 or so minutes to make a difference here. Mike, we were talking before the game. Coach Wolyniec said Marcus Epps is the most Mike Grella player out there. What'd you make of your doppelganger?
I thought he played well today. I thought he was clever in a lot of the situations. I think he even took his chance as well. If you're not being too picky, I think he took his chance as well also. So good performance from him.
Mines coming on the field now, just 17 years old. And we talked about what this new setup can be. This here is the 20th professional soccer game for Ben Mines. As Wynn cuts back, he's headed away, and he's only 18 years old, still able to live at home and drive to training. But it just shows you the soccer system in the U.S. and Canada now and how far it's come over the last 5, 10, 15 years.
Totally different, and it's great. It's great for him. Like I said so many times today, it's such an amazing platform.
It'll be Wynn to take this corner kick, the right-footed in-swinger. And on the top of the 6, Barlow won the initial header. Now Davis to serve. Floated up on the far post. Opportunity here for Nashville across the face of goal. And New York Red Bulls, too, are able to clear. LaGrassa put that one across a wide-open goal. And no yellow jersey there to poke it home. And there'll be a handball here against Rios. The second balls, we heard Coach Wolenek talking about them on long balls, but here off the set piece, Davis puts in the second opportunity and a dangerous one.
Yeah, it's even the first. I mean, they're winning a lot of first balls and second balls, and that creates a lot of uncertainty in the back line and a lot of uncertainty when you're defending. It's like I said, it's not pretty, but it is effective.
And Tribbett there, showing he thought that arm was extended a little bit as the foul went against Barlow. We see these two teams starting to get a little bit more testy with each other.
It's been a physical game from the start, really.
Scarlett able to win that battle. And a free kick there, going the home team's way. Combined 28 fouls.
That's a lot.
That's
a lot. It seems the second half they've blown the whistle. The referee's blown the whistle so many times, and rightfully so. It's a little chippy. I think it's been pretty direct, and I think when the game is direct from both teams, you get a lot of these awkward challenges, these 50-50 challenges, these balls that are up for grabs, and so you just naturally see more fouls. For instance, this play here, when you just dump a ball into the keeper, yeah, I know you're waiting for a runner or whatever it may be, but what I see there is that just pull it back and play and just keep the ball. I think possession at times is just not valued enough.
Does it change because, for example, New York have a system where when the other team's in possession, they can create opportunities through the press?
Maybe, but I think one of the worst things you can do is float a ball to the goalkeeper on the opposing team, because it sets up counterattacks and it sets up all sorts of trouble for you. And also it sets up frustration for a lot of the guys that are making runs in behind. So, yeah, I understand that. You want to be direct and fast, but there's times where it's just not on and you need to put your foot on it and go back around and maybe switch the field and just see something else, but see a different picture at the other team. But I think, for sure, a little bit of patience in certain times, it definitely will help.
Yellow card here to the captain, Michael Reed. Take a look at the replay here. We talked about the physicality amping up. Michael Reed, 31-year-old veteran. Ben Mines, 18-year-old.
Yeah, that's good for him. Great experience for him to get into a challenge like that with a guy with that much experience and a guy that's a pretty physical player. I think this is what you'll get from Gary Smith's teams. They're going to compete. That's for sure, every single time, and you get that sort of Red Bull identity as well. They're gonna compete, and not aside from compete, very very physical.
So Daniel Rios, the opening goal here today in the 22nd minute. His afternoon is done as Cameron Lancaster comes on in his place. Definitely no downgrade for Coach Smith. Lancaster, 25 goals in 2018, the regular season record, including one more goal in the postseason on the way to a USL championship with Louisville City. Etienne now lays it out for Buckmaster, who's beaten to it by Belmar. Etienne jumps back on it himself, and then Belmar able to clear. We highlighted Daniel Rios off the top, took his goal well, but was a nuisance and a force all game for that New York Red Bull 2 back line.
Yeah, he's quite a composed guy for being so big and strong. Had a really good finish. Created a few flick-ons and a few chances. I wouldn't say it was an amazing performance, but for sure you could see that he's got a lot of quality.
Lancaster now coming on, a Tottenham Academy player. Played under Gary Smith at Stevenage in England, his native England, before coming over to Louisville. Injured his ACL in his first appearance in USL in 2015. Came back with 4 goals in 2016, 8 goals in 2017, before exploding for 25 goals in the regular season last year, 26 in total.
These are also difficult conditions to play in. It seems very windy and on a turf field, so you're getting a lot of awkward bounces and you're getting a lot of these direct balls. So it's definitely difficult conditions to play in also.
Buckmaster trying to make up for his own turnover. Nealis with the deflection. LaGrassa wanted the handball to be called. John Freeman didn't agree with him and so played on. Like approaching the 80th minute here. If you're a part of this Nashville SC squad out here on the field, it'll be a free kick coming for them. What's the thought process of how you want to see out these final 15 or so minutes?
Depends really what their initiative is here. Are they happy with the draw or not? I'm not too sure. I don't know what's going on inside their camp. So if they're happy with the draw, which doesn't seem like it because they're pressing on and they look like they're looking to get the second one. But if they're happy with the draw, I think doing what they were doing, just being compact, making sure they don't get hit on a counter, trying to take advantage of set pieces. I think their MO and their plan is very, very clear.
In a situation where you say, we're on the road, we want to get away with a point, is that something audibly being said throughout the team from player to player, from the coach to the players, or is it something that's just sensed by everyone?
It's something that's said most of the time, and I think both of those. I think there's times where you're in an away stadium that's a really tough place to get a point. For example, if you're playing against Atlanta, and you know that a point is good enough there. It's not something that really needs to be said. You know that a point's good enough, and then in those moments, it's not to say, okay, a point's good enough, sit back and defend, and just clear the ball. You've got to continue to play. You've got to continue to have balance. But I think you're more cautious and you're more compact, especially when defending.
Free kick coming here. Wynn fakes it. Davis to take. It's knocked away just before the diving head of Ken Tribbett. And now a free kick going against Nashville SC, which they are not happy about by any means.
For Derek there, so easy for him to turn around and just clear the ball anywhere. But the composure, it takes a lot more energy, a lot more intelligence to try to stop the ball, to try to control the ball, to try to get something from him. He gets a foul, and now look how far we pushed up the field versus just heaving it up the field, and now they're back in our end again trying to defend.
It'll be Nashville free kick here as the fouls are piling up here in the second half between these two teams. Just about 10 minutes to go. Over 32 fouls combined between these two teams. 4 yellow cards. Speaking of yellow, these Nashville jerseys, some of the nicest in the league. They all yellow head to toe?
You really like them?
Oh, you don't?
I'm not sure.
Aren't you a Leeds guy? Don't you wear yellow? I don't actually know what color Leeds wears.
They're famous for, I think they're called the all whites, so they always
wear
white.
The lilies or whatever.
Which is very cool. I think every player's, when they think about being a pro or when they want to score great goals or whatever, they think about playing in all white. Sort of like the Real Madrid and Leeds was one of those teams, which is pretty cool. Not sure the yellow's okay.
Well, I'm a fan, so if Nashville SC is looking to unload any nice yellow jerseys, I can send my address over whenever necessary. You can see some fans. The roadies here to support as well. Another low-driven free kick. And a yellow card given before it was even taken. It'll be Liam Doyle this time. Really starting to rack up here. if you're a guy like Derek Etienne Jr. here, one of the senior players on this young squad, it's gotten physical. It's a tough game against an opponent that's lethal if you give them opportunities. What are you saying to try and guide this, as he steps off the field, guide this New York Red Bull 2 team forward in either to try and hold on for a point or get a victory?
Well, the New York Red Bull 2 team is at home, so they've got to push to win the game. And I think as the captain or as any of the leaders on the field would do, whether it's Derek or whoever it may be, I think you need to show by action more than anything else. Yeah, you can scream. It's easy to scream and it's easy to yell about, we need to push forward, keep going, and all these positive messages. But I think by action is the most important. So by continuing to press, continuing to fight, continuing to get first balls, second balls, and doing anything you can to win, and pushing guys on, grabbing guys and pushing them on, making sure that they're focused and that they know their roles. It's important in these final minutes.
Mines here running into some space. To the feet of Stroud in the box, gets run down from behind. The crowd wants the call, but our head official, John Freeman, saying no.
No, yeah, difficult to see.
Stroud back on his feet and ready to play. Casares with the delicate flick there as he earns the free kick. You can get updates and alerts all year long by following your club on ESPN.com. Search for New York Red Bulls 2 and then click the follow button to keep up with the latest news and scores. Plus, you can get reminders on your New York Red Bulls 2 next match. Go to ESPN.com now and click follow for your club. That one will be on Friday, I believe. He'll be back with us, Mike.
Yeah, that's right. I'm looking forward to it.
So now that we've gotten that first run out of your legs, we can regen you throughout the week, get you going for the next one.
Absolutely.
Of course, on ESPN Plus. Nashville SC heading to Ottawa. Dangerous free kick coming here. All 11 in yellow. Back to defend. It's Torito down the line. His cross knocked down off the post and back into the arms of Sparrow.
Wow. Wow.
Laura will clear this one out. Let's take a look at this replay, though, Mike.
I don't need to see the replay. I know this exact play. We've drawn it up, and we've practiced it a million times, and I was just about to say it's nice to see it work once. Really good play, really intelligent play there. Good ball across.
And it was what you wanted, that low ball, make it tough for the goalkeeper.
It was perfect, yeah. It was perfectly executed.
Except for the finish.
Except for the finish.
New York Red Bulls 2 inches away. We saw Nashville hit the post earlier in this first half. Question if there's a winner still in it. That's Sebastian Elney, who came on for Derek Etienne Jr. Elney, a center forward out of the University of Maryland. But it looks like he'll play a little bit more on the wing here as there's a clash of heads. Cameron Lancaster and Jordan Scarlett.
Jordan Scarlett is not a guy you want to run into in some of these situations. He is a tough player.
Scarlett.
Very aggressive, tough player.
He broke his arm his first year in the pro game. So had to sit out basically the first half of his first season. But continues to be brought back year after year by the New York Red Bulls too. Another replay of the free kick here.
Yeah, really good ball. Creates a ton of confusion for the goalkeeper. He actually spills it, and then the next strike is it's exactly what you want. You want the keeper to be in that awkward situation where he doesn't really know what to do and spill it, and that's what you hope for. But the next shot, difficult with so many bodies in front of you.
Besides that play, Edgardo Rito, the first time we've seen him in a New York Red Bull jersey, at right back, the young Venezuelan. Coach Wolenek said he's a highlight fullback. He'll get forward.
Yep.
He might get beat as well. What have you seen from him overall this afternoon?
Yes, no, solid. There's in the second half more than the first because of the change in the game. There's been more space behind their back line, and you see some of these balls go in and over the top of him, and he's got great speed in terms of catching the ball and keeping the strikers honest and keeping the wingers honest. So pretty steady performance so far.
Do you like to see that overlapping fullback hit that early cross that he's done most of the time? Do you want to see them come in and connect and try and link up and get into the box at all, or is that his role to get wide and hit that quick cross?
Yeah, some of the best teams in the world, the fullbacks are some of the most important positions. They're not just about defending, or they've got to be good with the ball. And a lot of the times, a lot of good attacking scenarios happen through them. So in their situation, I know that ball most of the time is going to be the one that's on, that ball that's driven in behind the back line, because it's just so difficult to defend. And as time goes on, you'll see a lot of those balls are becoming really popular because an own goal, keeper spills it, the striker's onto it. It's really a difficult pass to defend. And then once you've put a few in there, you can always use your imagination to fake one maybe and or be more patient and go back around. But a lot of the times what it does is collapse the back line, and it creates space for a number 10 or a striker who pulls off at the top of the box.
Belmar first to this one. We're going to go direct into the feet of Lancaster, who's recovered from the head collision with Scarlett. His pass deflected into the feet of Casares. Casares, the early ball straight down the middle. Tribbett the first to it, and Sparrow's able to clear away from an on-rushing Barlow. Final 5 or so minutes here at MSU Soccer Park. David Goss and Mike Grella here on ESPN+. It was a 22nd minute strike from Daniel Rios. His second of the season to give the away side the lead against the run of play, as New York Red Bulls 2 held 65% possession in that first half. And it took him just a few minutes in the second half to get the equalizer through Brian White, his first goal of the season. We've seen opportunities both sides outside of that. Both teams have hit the post and have had a few huge opportunities go begging.
It's been a pretty even game. I think both teams have been more direct than I would have expected. And both teams are winning their fair share of first and second balls. In the second half, it's been a very even contest. The two teams are playing very similarly.
Casares here coming forward into the feet of Mines. Mines going with the early ball. Elney running off to this one, and he can't find the mark. It was almost a carbon copy goal of the one Nashville scored in the first half. The defensive header from Tribbett going back towards his own goal, landing on the opponent's foot, and Elney just couldn't find the finish.
It's that ball in behind that just creates confusion. Defenders hate that. They hate a ball that's going in behind them. Actually, it looks like the keeper might have touched that. But you'd like to see him almost do the same exact thing that Daniel Rios did, just go around them and just pass it in. He had enough time and space there. But that ball in behind the defenders is the ball that they just hate defending. It's awkward for them. It could bounce. They're facing the wrong way. It's a difficult one.
Elney out of the Philadelphia Union Academy, originally from Boca Raton, Florida, trained all over Europe with a number of different teams before heading to Maryland for 4 years, including closing out with a national championship. 2018, Rito with the highlight reel beats 2 defenders, and then his shot goes just wide of that far post.
Yeah, I really like the way he's played today. He's dangerous in the attack. He's defended well. He's been steady in the back, and a very willing runner into the box in the attack.
Showing a little bit of sauce here from Edgardo Rito, beating 2 defenders. Couldn't get his shot on target. Final 4 or so minutes, a minimum of 4 minutes of stoppage time here. This is the 3rd time these 2 teams have faced off. The first 2, both 1-1 ties. Well, looks to be on form here, unless something can change in the final minutes.
Really good strength there to defend the ball, keep possession of the ball. I'll say it again, I'm really impressed with Christian. I think in a game like this where it's windy, it's been really physical. Very technical players usually struggle in that. I know I usually did when it was just a game that was just all about physicality. You sort of struggle to find the motivation to continue, and I think he's slowed the game down when he's had the chance, and he still really showed a lot of composure and played well.
A collision on the edge of the box. Head official John Freeman, the second time Jared Stroud has appealed to him in the second half for a penalty kick. Freeman waves it off. Christian Casares Jr. right now played with the Venezuelan U20s throughout preseason, didn't meet up with New York Red Bulls until in Dominican Republic for the opening leg of Scotiabank CCL action. So he's still getting his feet back with this squad. Who else has stood out for you, Mike, in this one?
Well, he's certainly one of them that goes without question. And I think Derek played well. I think there hasn't been too many standouts to be quite fair, just because of the nature of the game. It's been really direct. It's been the quality has been a little bit lower than you would like to see, and it's been a more competitive game. So very, very physical game.
Davis to take this free kick once again. Scarlett wins the first header. Still alive in the box for Nashville. Dangerous opportunity here for the away side. Akinyode lays it back for Belmar, whose shot is blocked. And finally, Lima clears. And Davis trying to run this one down. He gets there before Casares. Barlow, though, opening up an extra gear. That's why Tom Barlow's out there. He forced a dangerous throw-in that wouldn't exist without his effort. And the second ball out on the field slows this New York Red Bull to attack. Mine's looking for the feet of Rito.
Good idea. You see that ball a lot. That ball in behind the fullback.
Casares able to regain possession. Akinyode rides him off the ball. Good battle between the two center midfielders as we approach most likely the final few seconds of this one. With a 22nd minute goal from Rios, matched by the 53rd minute goal by Brian White. Our two highlighted center forwards. Looks like
another set piece, pretty dangerous position here.
We've seen Lima serve ball after ball with his left foot. Casares standing over this one now. As expected, all 11 Nashville players in the box to defend. This could be the final opportunity for these two teams here. It'll be Lima to take. Floated into the top of the six.
It's a great ball.
Lancaster heads it away, and that's all she wrote. New York Red Bulls 2 and Nashville SC have matched up 3 times in their franchise's history. They've drawn 1-1 all 3 times.
Really? Wow.
Mike, biggest takeaway from this one between these two squads?
I think the competitive nature was definitely there. There was no question about the commitment from both teams to play hard and try to win the game. That was nice to see. I think the nature of the game, it being so direct and on turf and in the wind, made it a little bit more difficult.
We'll see what these two teams can do going forward here. Very early on in the season, New York Red Bulls 2 remain undefeated. Nashville SC bounces back from their first loss of the year with a big road point. We'll be back in just a moment with your post-game stats and highlights here on ESPN+. Brian White gets his first of the game.
Lancaster denied by Rowe.
His low shot off the post and in. Jared Stroud's got his hat trick. New York Red Bulls 2 take a 4-goal lead. Beautiful day for soccer. The fans out enjoying the start of the USL Championship season. Brian White enjoying the start of his goal-scoring run. He hopes that will be a fruitful 2019. His second half goal equalizing for New York Red Bulls too as they get the tie. In the end, 61% possession for New York Red Bulls too, but a physical one, Mike, between these two teams. 40 fouls between these two squads. You said it, competitive. It was a fun one, not always clean, but you can see what these two teams are building for in 2019.
Yes, absolutely. You could see both clubs really took the game seriously, competitive, physical. We got to see a really composed, great finish, and then we also got to see a nice finish on the other end from Red Bull too.
Marcus Epps, another assist for him, so a goal and 2 assists to start the year. Daniel Rios, 2 goals already in 2019. It was a fun one, Mike. Thanks so much for joining me. We'll see you again coming up on Friday. New York Red Bulls to the 3rd of their 3-game homestand to start the year. Daniel Rios on fire once again here in 2019 as he continues to haunt New York Red Bulls to a 1-1 draw at MSU Soccer Park. For myself, David Goss, and Mike Grella, thanks so much for joining us here on ESPN+.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.